Hey guys, Stephanie here with Escaping Paint. Sorry, I'm looking at my screen and trying to figure out where the camera is now because I moved it because it wasn't there because it couldn't see nothing. So blah, it's crazy. I am shooting this to my personal page as well as to my YouTube channel and to the Escaping Paint business page. Business page on Facebook. Well, let me tell you, I may be just turning this off and quitting one on the head because I can't even speak today. Anyway, I'm fixing to do some gnomes. So I've got my Thankful and Blessed Gnomes that I got traced out the other day from my stencils. And again, I traced them instead of using the stencils because I'm lazy and I didn't want to sand down my boards. I like the edging on it, so I was lazy. So let me turn this down and get that pointed down here. Let me get this out of the way. And this is my 18 inches long by 10 inches wide because these are, I think the wood is technically they say it's 3 inches wide, but it's not actually 3 inches until after it's been good. I'm glad you think that I'm good because I'm like, I'm so tongue-tied and my brain is like not with it today. So anyway, so we're going to play with it, and I'm going to put, I think, a blue sky behind them, and I didn't even get green for the bottom. I think I will go get some green to do some bottom work, some of the bottom painting on there. Y'all just say hi. Thank you, Andrea, for saying hi. As y'all are popping in. I have promised myself that I'm going to try and play with a few more colors instead of just sticking with the same old ones that I do a lot of my stuff, my backgrounds and stuff with, because I typically do a lot of the same colors for the back again and again. And I'm like, well, so I'm going to use some different colors for the greens on the bottom there. I'm going to use Indian turquoise for the blue on the sky, and I think I'm going to kind of water it down just a little bit, not a lot, and give it kind of a little bit of a stained look to it, because you can take a little bit of this water on your brush here, get your brush wet, and then, okay, Andrea, I see where you commented, but I don't see anything else in it, so I don't know what we did there. But I'm going to kind of thin it down, and I'm going over it all. I'll be able to see my lines through it, and if I can't, then I've got the stencil, and I can retrace it if I need to. But like I said, if you wanted to use the stencils, I get the Essential Stencil of the Month kit, and these gnomes were in there, several months ago. And I've just been kind of waiting for the right time and the right moment for me to do them. And so I've just been waiting to do them. And I needed to so I just thought I'd do them now. So I'm at least going 2 of the 4 boards down. These boards, before they are milled and milled down, I think is why they're 3 inches, because they're actually a little smaller than 3 inches when you measure them. So that what should have been a 12-inch at 3 inches each is actually 10 inches when you put them together this way. So they are actually 18 inches long. I do have a video on my page at Escape and Paint. I believe it should still be pinned to the top, walking you through everything you needed to make your own if you so desired. I'm getting a little bit of water here. I don't want to thin it down too much, but I would like to make it a little bit thinner, more like a stain than the paint on this part. And I'm not worried about it going over that face, and I'm not worried about it going between them and going over that fan sign. Like I said, I've got the stencils. If I need to put them back, I can. I'm just kind of trying to make the background look kind of even there. If y'all don't mind saying hi when you join me, I would really appreciate it. See, a couple more people have popped in really fast, so I wanted to just say hey, hey, hey. I do hit the ends of it just because I don't know how somebody's going to display this. Hey, Andrea, what are, I can't even think of names today. Grace's favorite colors and stuff. I know their names, I really do. My brain is just not engaging today. See, I thought it was James, and I was afraid I was doing it all wrong. And what are their favorite colors? Like, what does she typically wear? I know I've seen pictures of her in blues and stuff like that really seem to make her look good. But what are some of their favorite colors? They're neutral grays and whites. Okay. Well, obviously, this is not neutral gray and white. But everybody needs a splash of color, right? We'll see. We'll see how it turns out. If I like it enough, I might send it somewhere. But if not, then I may not. Okay, so I'm catching the ends of the boards, just so y'all, if you can't see, because I don't think you can. It's the camera. When it was up high enough, it didn't focus well enough, so it drove me nuts when I moved it. And so now it's like in possibly the most inopportune place to be. But you can at least sort of see things. So as this dries, you'll be able to see that it's not. See, you can see where I've got my lettering started here. And you can kind of see in here where it's not like super blue, dark blue. It definitely looks more stained rather than painted. And I kind of wanted that to be the gist of it there. Some of it will be darker, some of it will be lighter. That's just how it's supposed to be, right? I mean, the sky is not perfectly one or the other at all times. I mean, it's got streaks and lights and darks and all that good stuff in it. You love the gnomes. I have played with them a little bit. I'm trying to decide if they're growing on me or not. I don't dislike them, but they're just not my favorite decor yet. Oh, this is not an original design. I used a stencil for this, Miss Cynthia, but thank you. I'll take that. But see the top of it. Maybe as it dries, I'll see more of it. Okay, so I'm gonna play with. I've got green tree and eucalyptus leaf. Eucalyptus leaf is our darker color here, so I'm gonna put a little bit of this down. And then we're going to put a little of the spring tree over it a little bit, I think. So, hey, Miss Minetta, how are you? I have decided to play with one of my stencils, and I traced it out rather than doing it stencil because I wanted the board to not be perfectly sanded smooth. So I did not sand it smooth, so you can't use a stencil on it because if you use a stencil on it, it's going to bleed. Hang it in there, huh? Now, how much more snow have you gotten, Miss Minetta? Because I knew before any of us even heard that we might be getting snow, you had some serious snow. Okay, y'all, I'm down in this corner and I don't think y'all can see it, so I'm trying to move where y'all can see. I'm just taking this darker shade of green. It's not dark green by any means, but it's well, it's called eucalyptus leaf. So by Deco Art. And yes, like I said, I do hit the ends of mine. That way if it's displayed somewhere, it looks like it's finished and doesn't need a frame or anything special on it. I'm going to run it all down this bottom here, and I probably didn't hit the top, did I? Let me see. Nope, didn't hit the top. I'll hit that in a minute. But I will take, okay, I'm going to have to get a different brush to get between them for sure. Got about 6 inches and expecting another 8. Wow. Now we've just got cold weather where I'm at, and it says we're supposed to be getting about 8 inches-ish somewhere early Sunday morning. But we shall see. Okay, I'm going to grab my other round brush because I need to be able to get in some smaller spaces. I think I'm just going to cover some of that with hair. What do y'all think? Okay. So I'm taking my eucalyptus, which is my darker green, and I'm putting it down. And then we'll take some of the lighter one, I think it's green tree. Yeah, green tree. And it's a very, I'm going to say pastel green, because to me it looks very pastel compared to some of them. Usually when I'm doing grass or ground, I always reach for my Hauser greens because there's a family of like 3 of them. There's a light, a medium, and a dark. And they are just, they're perfect. They're just the right shades and they blend and it just adds so much depth if you do use them. And I love to do them. Okay, guys, I'm at the wrong end for y'all to see on them. Sorry. Again, I moved my camera so you can't see the whole thing at one time because it wasn't wanting to focus. Where I had it before up here, like over there, up in front of me, and it wouldn't focus if it was up too high. So I don't know. I keep trying to play with it until I figure out the best plot for it. But it's really starting to drive me bananas. And so this life, you being creative. Well, thank you, Miss Sylvia. Cynthia. Sylvia. I can't even talk today. Y'all forgive me. It's Cynthia. I'm enjoying having you with me. I don't get to visit with you often, Miss Cynthia. So tell me what's going on with you. But yeah, I'm just trying really hard. And if you haven't already, I have a page, Miss Cynthia, on Facebook that I'm sending this to as well. So I'm sending this to a couple of places. I'm sending it to my personal page and I'm sending it to my business page. But I'm going to put my business page in the links. And if you'll go there and follow that page, then you'll know anytime I'm going live or being creative, and you can catch up on some of the things that I've already done if it's something that you would enjoy doing. Okay, I need more eucalyptus. Trying to not run over the shoes too bad on this one. Get between the feet on this one. Like I said, I'm going around the outside edges here just because on my canvases and on my wood, if I'm doing something on wood, I try to go around the outside edges just to give it that finished look. It doesn't have to have it on there, but I typically do. And Andrea, I know their last name is going to be Smith, and I was pretty sure it was James, but I was like, no, my luck, I'm going to say the wrong name, and I'm going to be remembering the wrong person, and I'm going to get myself in big, big trouble. So, thank you for clearing it up. Yes, it is James. My brain was like, it's James, and it's like, no, it's not. I'm like, no, I know who their kids are. So, anyway. So, round that little foot, around her hair. I left a little swig of green paint in here, and I might not should have done that because it looks like it dried in a funny direction. Waiting on me to get over here to finish it. Alright, I'm sorry if y'all hear the microwave banging and thumping in there. It's right outside the door, so it's not a big deal. I just want y'all to know that may be what you're hearing, something in the background. I have the best husband in the world, and he's fixing up supper while I'm doing this. So, best possible husband for me anyway. How's that? Can't remember names for anything. Well, good. I'm glad I'm not alone, because it was like, I know. And I just was looking at the invitation. It came in the mail yesterday, and I'm like, I'm like 99.9% certain. But if I say it, it's going to be Robert or John or some other J name, and I'm going to have it all messed up, and I'm going to be all kind of in the doghouse with myself because I can't remember. So, anyway, James and Grace. Is everything okay, boss?
Yep.
Okay, so I'm gonna get around this bow over here. Can y'all even see this? No, you cannot. Okay, I'm gonna lift you up just a little bit. Let's see if that helps. I'm gonna get around this little bow right here just a little bit better, because I don't know how much in I need to come for the hair to. So that's our base coat. I'm not going to rinse this brush. I'm just going to start dipping it in our green tree and kind of bounce it up and down. I'm bouncing it up and down, and that's going to kind of add some just some light hints Might even smear it a little bit. Get some of the other one too. Smear them together. Yeah, I think that's what I'm going to do. Is take both of them together and kind of splash them back and forth here and there. Not a lot. Just adding a little bit of. All right, no worries. So I'm just going to take both of them on my brush a little bit and kind of smear both of them together a little bit because that adds just a little bit of depth to it. And then we can go back with the lighter one and add. We can add some flowers with that too later with another color. Okay, let me turn it around so you guys can see close up. See how it kind of looks messy there, but when you pull it out here, it looks like there's depth to the grass and the flowers. So gotta turn it back around so I can see what I'm doing. Okay, I need to get the blue while I'm thinking about it or I'm gonna forget. Okay. So while I've still got, and I remember I watered down my blue because I wanted it to look more like it was a stain and a blending through. So it's not going to be a heavy blue. Although I do need a little bit more blue. Okay, almost done with this end. And I think what I'm going to do is dry brush just a touch of white in there. I don't know. I may not. I'm debating it for this guy. I like how these look, but I do want to add a little bit. Hey, Jamie, how are you? Good to have you with me this afternoon. It's kind of focusing on getting the last of that edge over there. I like to cover the edges, and I'm trying to make sure I've got them all covered. I do not have the bottom covered. Y'all don't have to keep me on my toes. I'm not paying attention like I should. Oh. And so I'll grab a little of the green and finish the bottom right fast. Got about halfway across there and left it. And I watered down the blue just a little bit to make it look more like a stain on the sky. I did the grass a little bit thicker. I didn't water it down near as much. I think there was a little moisture in my brush. That's the only reason there was any kind of a dilution there. But it's because I wanted the sky to look, it adds to the layers. Let's just say it adds to the dimensions and it helps everything to just kind of blend in there. So, all right, so I'm going to get me a dry brush. This one's got very soft bristles on it, so we're going to see if this will work. And I'm going to get a little bit of white. I'm going to tap it into the ends and offload a lot. That basically means that instead of having it really full and loaded, I've got just a little bit on here. And I'm going to kind of drag it lightly through a couple of different places, and I'll come back as it gets wiped in a little bit. I don't necessarily want it to be a strong, like really white there. I just wanted, okay, so I'm going to take and offload as much as I can. Brush it in. I don't really want any streaks, but like heavy, thick white lines. But I did want it to look kind of like clouds just kind of passing through. Like on a sunny day when you're out there and there's just a little bit. It's not really a heavy, bright white anything. It's just kind of there, but there we go. So I've got a little bit of white in there behind them. Okay, can y'all see that? Yeah, I think you can because this is one, And there's a streak, and there's some, there's a little bit, and there's a few over here. We're not doing it heavy, we're just doing it light. Okay. Okay, so I'm gonna rinse that brush out and get it out of the water. I don't like leaving my brushes sitting in the water. I'm just really finicky that way. My brush tray is full of candies and tape. Why is it full of that? When I need to paint. I've got a tray here that I like to sit my brushes in so that I don't forget which ones I've used and which ones need really good cleaning at the end of the day. All right, so now what color do I want to do their hats? Okay, I think I'm going to go get me some different shades of brown for the hair. And like a light blonde. All right, so I usually will grab colors that I think of Philip and I, because that's typically what I'm going to paint it for. But I figured out I can paint and gift, or I can paint and sell. I don't typically sell it, but I guess I could. So let's see. I'm going to start with this really, it's called zinc, and it's a really dark gray. I think I'm going to start his hat with the zinc. Can y'all see where I'm at? Nope, you can't. Y'all tell me when you can't see what I'm doing. Like I said, I'm used to my camera being in one spot, and I had to move it because it wasn't focusing and nobody could see anything. You could see hands moving, but you couldn't see the focus of what it was. So. I'm kind of liking it. Again, without priming the wood, it kind of needs a little bit. It might need a second coat. This wood does suck the paint in pretty good. And you could, if you were to do one of these, paint it with a primer, spray paint it with a primer, a good sealing primer, and then go over it. But it's not a requirement. Obviously, I don't do it. I kind of like for the wood to kind of suck some of the color in and give it some of that natural dimension that is added to it by being part of the natural wood behind it. Go. A little bit more. I'm going to bring it on down because this was a stencil and I was tracing. I wasn't thinking about what line I needed to stop at and what line I needed to go over. Like, you don't need two lines around his nose. It's not like his nose is like 2 times so big. So, but when you stencil it, it's different because it's holding different things in and putting different things in perspective in our work. So, there we go. Now, I think I'll go ahead and do his shoes the same color. Just because we're going to make him match a little bit. He coordinated enough at least once or twice, right? I know a number of guys, I was surprised by them, whenever I stopped to think about it, that are very color coordinated and very up on how and what they do, color coordination wise, and how their tie and their shirt and their hat and all of it go really well together. So I was not about to say anything about, well, it's not usual, because apparently it is kind of usual for some people to be well coordinated like that. Some of us not so much, but finishing his beard here. Not his beard, finishing the edge of his beard there by his shoe. How's that? That one looks more rounded to me than this one does over here, so I'm fixing to round this shoe a little bit more. Because that was like making me crazy. There we go. All right, so we've got him started. Now, I had a question. I haven't painted anything yet, so I could potentially put their hands like facing out, but I still don't think they're going to be able to touch if I just flip their hands out. So I may just leave them alone. I think I answered my own question. How is everybody today? What are y'all doing? Where are y'all watching from? Let's see who all's watching from where and what's the weather like where you're at. Because Texas is expecting, or my part of Texas is expecting some, what was it? 6 or 8, I think it's 8 inches of snow coming in on Sunday morning, and then more after that. So is looking like it's supposed to be on the horizon. Let me decide. Let me decide. I think we're going to do a light gray. No, she needs some color. He needs some color. They need some color. I may have to put some splashes of color. Maumelle, Arkansas. Girl, it's 16 degrees here and we're having an ice storm. Girl, yeah. Where are you at, Jamie? I forget. And no, I do not like the 16-degree nothing. No. Ooh, it's cold. Oklahoma, we're supposed to get close to 2 feet of snow. I'll believe it when I see it, though. Well, they were predicting at one point that the snow wasn't supposed to hit us until Monday, early Monday morning. And they were predicting like nearly 20 inches near us. Now, it's still a couple of hours from us, but it was still going to be pretty bad. So I was like, I don't know that we want that kind of weather. Whoever had it can take it back. We're going to do some purple pearl on her. She needs some purple. I don't know why, but she needs some purple. I just feel like she needs some purple. So we're going to put some purple on her. Okay, guys. Well, fine. Okay, I may just have to turn her over so that I can reach her. All right. Y'all like that anyway because y'all can see them right side up then. All right, my palette's out of the way, but you guys can't see it, but sorry. All right, we're gonna bring that in here. Oh yeah, I'm liking this color. It's gonna look real good up against the sky, that pale blue. Yeah, I was like, New Bern, Tennessee, work on an icy day, expecting snow next week. Andrea, I think they are talking about it coming in for us over the weekend. So I don't know. How over the weekend next week it is, but I know it's supposed to get really ugly. But like Jamie said, I'm not sure if I should believe the numbers. But they had two different models running, and the low end model said 8 to 10 inches here. The high end model said 20 inches. And I was like, I'll believe it when I see that. But yeah, that's kind of scary. Yeah, that's a lot. It's like we're just not used to that kind of. Well, and for us to have already gotten snow once this year, it's kind of one of those. What do you mean snow? We've already had our once every 3 or 4 years dusting because ice is and maybe enough snow that you can do a little freezer-sized snowman. Does that make sense? I've only seen that kind of snow when we lived in Indianapolis. Oh, I bet. Up there, I know we worshipped until they moved recently with a couple that lived in Indiana, and she said the little congregation that they found, you had to go in and chip the ice off the baptistry. And she says, I wonder if that had anything to do with the low number of conversions. And I was like, I think it might if I knew it was having to be chipped out. But she said, yeah, it gets really cold up there. And I'm like, yeah, I'd get used to it if I lived up there, but I don't like shivering that much. Not that much at all. I'm really not into the whole freezing myself to pieces. That's some cold water. Yes, it is. Yes, ma'am. I think she said they had a heater, but if they ran the heater, it would steam the whole building up from the water getting evaporating out of the baptistry or whatever. So it was kind of a conundrum for them. And I was like, oh, y'all, that is not. That's not a hard place I want to be put between. A rock and a hard place I want to be in between, you know? All right, Joe. It's the sauna church. We're going to have sauna going on. Sauna day. I don't think so. I don't think that would work real well. Steaming your glasses up as you're trying to pay attention to worship. I don't think that would work real well. All right. Good for the pores and for the skin. Well, yeah, I'm sure it is. Gotta be careful what kind of clothing you wore, because then the steam might shrink things. Or I don't know. I guess you could always wear linen, and it would always steam it straight for you, steam it out for you. She said it was really cold up there, and it was really hard to do some things. So yeah, I can imagine that it would be very, very cold. Okay. Making her dress match for now. I'm not sure if I'm going to put a flower in her hair, on her hat, or if I'm going to put some polka dots on both and then do a flower too, or what I'm going to do. We'll just have to see. Because I think I'm going to have to do the ribbon a different color if we don't want it to blend into the outfit. Okay. Let me go over his hat just a little bit again because I'm seeing some bleed on the wood. And this is not the sky. Well, the sky is okay for us to have some of that bleed on. We did not want it in the middle of his hat. All right. All right. So I have coral and I have coral blush, and I'm trying to decide how to blend them to make a good skin tone. I don't want it super pale, but I don't want it super. That's not good. That one, the tip broke off in it, so I have to pour it out a little bit. So y'all be patient with me. Is that? You don't want to overdo that. Doesn't that would look a weird color right now? So, do we do just this shade? Or do I mix a little of this together and make it a little bit darker? Okay, no, I'm already not liking it. Well, I don't know. As it dries, it's not so bad. No, I like it with a little bit more of that. Just the one. All right, so for those just popping on, I traced my stencil out onto my wood because my wood is not even, and I did not want to go sand it down. I like the unevenness. I like the way it feels. I'm strange that way, I know, but or maybe I'm just lazy. I don't know. But I did not sand it down. I like the lighter one too. I'll probably go over him with just the lighter one in just a minute. It's just the straight Craft Smart Coral brand for that one. So, but I was not sure how pale it was going to look compared to, and I wanted it to look kind of skin tony, but not fake skin tone. Does that make sense? Because I've had some of these colors that I've never seen anybody that color, but it says it's skin color. Or it says it's a skin tone color. And it's like, I don't know what comic world you're living on, but I ain't never seen anybody that color. I've seen some different shades. That was not one. Okay. So now we're going to go ahead and do her hands. I'm hoping I've got this where y'all can see. I think I do. Y'all let me know if y'all can't see and I need to move it. I'm like in the zone and not thinking at all about whether y'all can see it or not. I try to remember that, but okay, so I got her hands done. Now I'm going to turn around and do his hands and probably go over his nose. Okay. Got his nose covered. Now we're going to get his hand. All right. Sorry, y'all. I get quiet when I get into the details. It's easy to forget to speak when you're doing the details. Sorry. All right. Okay. Almost got that done. This guy's beard covers most of his other, what I would consider other clothing or accessories. Like here's his hair coming down, and here's his nose. So he's like got a mustache and beard covering all of his other clothing. So she has the dress, and she probably has a face. So I'm probably trying to figure out where to put. Should I put some purple across here? I think maybe I should, y'all. It's like, wouldn't that be about where a neckline would be? I gotta figure out the rest of her face because she's gonna need some more face coloring. Now her hair can come in right there, and I can probably catch the edge of that nose and be fine with it right there. She's gonna have a mouth showing. We're gonna have to figure out a mouth for her. Catching the edge of that purple right just being streaking it down there. And you can outline that nose a little bit in a minute. All right, so it needs a darker brown hair, so you want to grab me a darker brown.
I guess I'm the paint guy now, huh?
First, possibly the burnt umber. You walked in at just the right time, sweet pea.
Mm-hmm. You just wait for me to come in here and say, I need something.
Yep, that's it. I was just waiting on that.
Oh, I wouldn't have done that.
When you're done, what?
I don't know, I'm just messing with you.
You don't have a paintbrush handle up your nose, don't you?
Why is the sky blue?
Because they're happy.
Oh.
And it's happy times make you think of blue skies. And she says to tell him to get back to work making my supper.
Your supper's done, smarty pants.
Thank you, sir. I appreciate it.
Just sitting in the pot cooling off enough to actually be able, put in your
To
mouth.
put in your mouth. I appreciate that so much.
If you ever want to know what it's like to put lava in your mouth, just fix Zuppa Toscana and try to eat it before it cools off.
Oh, yeah. Cynthia says, hello, Brother Patton.
Howdy back at you.
That's Carmesa's mom, in case you can't remember who it is. Hey, look,
Well,
I have trouble remembering who people
I wasn't
are.
going to ask.
So, hey, I have trouble remembering who people are sometimes, but I happen to remember that one, so I was, like, pretty proud of me. And I'm not going to worry about filling this one in super dark and thick because that kind of adds to the wood coming through, kind of adds to some of the hair-like texture on this guy.
Send it to West Tennessee, my foot. Come get it in East Texas.
Y'all can come visit.
It's easier to come to a pot of soup than it is to carry a pot of soup. That's all I'm saying.
It is good. We'll have to send you the recipe if you haven't already got one.
Well, this is keto style, so
Well,
you just have to eat that up.
I mean, it's good. It's got vegetables in it. She's laughing. Miss Cynthia's laughing at you.
Well, if I ain't good for nothing else, I'm good to be laughed at.
Laugh with, because you never let anybody. You laughing at yourself sometimes.
I laugh at myself all the time.
Well, you may be laughing, but I'm not necessarily laughing because I'm like, I don't think it's so funny when you're saying some of your stuff sometimes. But You know you joking and that's all that matters, but it's like Andrea says, yes, send me the recipe. Will do. I'll have to get off of here to find it again. We Googled, okay, we came in from preaching school one time and my mom had made the zuppa toscana soup. I've had it at Olive Garden. I don't like the Olive Garden one as much as I do the homemade stuff. Call me crazy. I love it. It's a good soup, but I like the homemade ones better.
Yeah. All we really do is swap the cauli for the taters.
Yeah, that's really to make
Probably
it
put a little
cute.
bit more cream in them than what. And that's really probably why you don't like it as much, because we make it a lot richer.
Well, we add a little more bacon fat, bacon to mine. I add a little more meat to mine when I'm doing not keto style. Yeah, keto style. You basically swap cauliflower for potatoes.
And remember, it doesn't take long for cauliflower to cook, so you don't cook it the same way you do with the potatoes, where you boil them for a while everything else is cooking.
Yeah, you don't. It makes it cook a lot faster. But then it is so rich and so good. Even okay, look, Zoe doesn't even like cauliflower, but she will eat this. Okay, she's getting where she will eat it in some things. This is the one thing that we have fixed, and we said just give it a shot. She's like, I'll actually eat this. Can I have another bowl? Okay, I'm just saying that says something because that kid's the pickiest eater. I've met very few that were pickier than her, and I mean very few. And yes, I've worked at daycares and public schools, so take that number into account. All right, and I'm bringing this in little strokes down because I want it to kind of look like it's the edge of his hair. So as I get to the bottom of this, I'm not just sticking to that straight outline of where that hit specifically. I kind of want it to look like a beard there, kind of wisping and curling where it needed to wisp and curl in.
Well, one sure thing about that gnome.
Hmm.
He ain't a lonely gnome.
No, he is not. He has a girl in pretty purple. That looks pretty and purple.
Sure got an awful pink nose, though.
Which one? Hers or his? You just want paint on your nose. That's what
I
you
got an
need.
awful brown nose now.
You fixing to. Okay, so I think I'm going to mix a little bit of this lighter brown.
Man, that's gonna look like he's spitting his beard.
No.
Oh, okay.
Trying to do hers with some blonde and brown streaks in it. I mean, it's not all just crazy dark color, right? Mixing some white and some brown in there. What you think?
I like it.
I don't know if y'all can see that or not. The different streaks. I did dark and light in there.
It's
You
darker
can-
than that screen.
Yeah.
It doesn't on the Facebook screen though when I see it on there.
We're good. We're good. Maybe it'll be okay there. So I'm turning it around so I can kind of try and catch the rest of her hair. So what I'm doing is I'm dipping my brush in both colors and just kind of dabbing it around to get the.
No, it looks a lot closer to
to the right colors on there. Good. That's good to know. Half the time I'm worried that people can't see anything I'm doing because it's so.
No, it looks good. I think it's just that monitor screen doesn't display it as well.
So we've got some darker colors in here, but we've got some lighter highlights in there. I'm trying to go through a little more.
I'm gonna go pester my daughter.
All right, go pester her. She'll enjoy it.
No, she won't.
Yeah, I know. All right, so I'm trying to figure out how to do these bows down here and do the braids going up because this is supposed to be like braids. And I'm just going to cover the hair coming down with it. And see, I think that looks like natural hair a little better. Now his doesn't look bad, but I think I'm going to end up going back in with a little bit, maybe another color in there. Maybe do more of the dark in his and more of the light in hers.
Come on, bitches.
And do a little bit more of the lighter one in hers. And then I'll go over the other one. A little bit more of the, with a little bit of the lighter one in it, but not much. There we go. And I'm trying to remember that whenever I'd already sketched the gnomes out when I added the hearts. And again, I would normally just be stenciling them, except that I decided that I was, whoops, way more yellow, way more of the cocoa than that. But I decided since my board was not even and I did not want to go smooth the board out. You know, I have my crazy reasons, and I'm sure they're just crazy reasons to everybody else, but I did not want to go sand the board out because, and I knew it was going to be the two gnomes, and I knew I was going to write thankful and blessed on here. Wasn't sure who it was going to go to, wasn't sure what I was going to do it for, anything past that. But life is not smooth and easy. So I didn't want the board to be smooth and super easy, smooth feeling. So I don't know. I'm just being silly with some of my thoughts here, but that was my thoughts behind not sanding it down. Because whoever gets it needs to remember that there are going to be rough spots and rough times and rough patches and not super easy. So okay, I'm definitely liking that. I like the light mixed in with that. You see, I'm thinking his looks pretty good without a lot of the yellow going in there. Maybe I should. Just slightly. I think I'll do it just lightly in a few places. Just lightly. His is going to definitely be a little more of the dark, though, with some lighter highlights kind of coming into it, rather than being lighter with a few darker lights. I think hers is a little lighter looking. All right. So I'm going to use True Red for our hearts. I may end up having to do this a couple of times to catch the edge of it. Watch your hands, Deb. I keep forgetting what's wet and what's not wet. Should I write something on the heart, y'all? Tell me if you think I should write something on the hearts, and if so, what should I write on their hearts? On the hearts. Hmm. Hmm. What do y'all think? What should I write? If I write any, should I write anything on the heart? And if so, what should I write? I vote no because the words are in the sky. Okay, well, there we go. That's. I could always write them there instead. I could go over those in the sky with something else, but I like them in the sky better. I like it where you could really read it. I was afraid if I tried to write more than a year or anything small, that it wouldn't be visible, you know, or his or hers, that kind of stuff. If I wrote anything other than his or hers or a year, I was afraid it would have to be too small to be very visible. But I think I'm with y'all. I think with the words in the sky, we don't need them. I'm trying to cover up some of this crazy tracing. The edging of the tracing. Both sides. If I need to go back over this in a minute, I probably will. Depending on just how thick you want some things. On wood, you're almost going to have to do it twice on some things, especially if you don't like do a primer or sealer or something. A primer that seals the wood some so that it doesn't pull the moisture right back out of here. There have been several times it's like, I like the effect, but then there's other times, there's other parts of it that you're like, I don't want that same effect on that. I want it to be. So you have to paint it a couple times. Like we didn't want his hat bleeding through with the sky, so we painted it a second time. Her hat, I don't know if the paint was just thicker or if I'd put a little bit more of the blue sky across her hat, which is a good possibility too. Oh, It is so much more fun to do this when you're visiting with people and talking. So thank you all so very much for commenting and chatting with me. If you enjoyed painting with me or watching me paint, I guess, because people are at work. I get it, you can't paint right there. Then let me know then do me a favor and hit that little button with the arrow beside it. Facebook doesn't like when you say certain words, and they want you to grow organically, but they don't realize that some people don't think about doing certain things and have to be asked. So, if you don't mind hitting that SHA button down there at the bottom, if you enjoyed this, so that other friends of yours that may not be friends of mine yet can follow me, find me, I would greatly appreciate it. Yes, thank you. I wasn't sure if anybody else knew that word. I try to say we sprinkle the love. There's a lot of people that I follow that that's our word, and I'm kind of scared now that that's what Facebook is listening for. I'm going to say, nope, they asked them to do that. So far, I haven't heard that that's one that they're actually listening for, but there's several of us that say it that way. So thank you. I appreciate you sprinkling the love. Oh, thank you. Well, Miss Cynthia, I have my moments when I'm really creative, and then I have my moments where it's like, give me an outline, a coloring book kind of page to start with, and I can play and go from there. So thank you so very much. I appreciate that compliment. And no, I didn't have it where you could see all of it very well at the very beginning. I know. I've got to figure out a different camera, or I've got to figure out a different camera angle, one of the two. Because this one's kind of making me crazy. Because my screen where I have to look through comments is over there, and the camera's up over, like to the left and up, and it's like, no, this isn't gonna. I look like I'm not talking to y'all when I'm talking to y'all on the screen when I try to turn it up and look at y'all. So I'm gonna have to figure this one out. So I'm gonna wear shoes like that. Shoes, this purple definitely looks like it's gonna need a second coat. I'm gonna do her ribbons in this color, and I'm gonna hope it doesn't look bad. I'm not sure why it's got so many loops on this ribbon. Fix some of that. Okay. I think we had a knot in the wood over here, and that's just kind of a funny spot to hit. Sometimes when you're trying to paint over those, it's not going to go as well as you want it to. I'm going to have to roll this brush a little tight. Okay, so that's okay. We'll get. I need to know if we think we need to put some dark purple polka dots or some white polka dots on here With a touch of brown. All of this messy hair. The bow, what do y'all think? I might have to fix part of that. I need to put some light purple in there. So, I think that looks better. I'll put the dress there as well. Okay, now let's grab some of this hair color again. Some of the yellow, the brown, the cocoa, and the burnt umber.
Rosie, get back in here.
Oh, that's wrong. Okay, now I need to go grab some green for sure.
Rosie, come on.
I don't think y'all can see where I'm at. I went and put hair color between in the grass spot, so I can grab some of the grass colors. It's obviously a grassy spot. And I put brown in there instead of green. And it is definitely supposed to have the green. All right. We are almost done, y'all. Okay, so I think what I'm going to do is get a thinner brush. Definitely want a smaller brush. Thinner. There it is. It's like, where did it go? I don't have it. So I'm going to roll it and get some darker purple on it. This is one of those lovely bottles that is messed up, so you can't just pour it out. So this is our dark purple that I did the shoes in. I'm going to kind of go around it. We're just going to add a few little hints and highlights here and there. Roll it in it and get it to a point where it kind of comes up a little better. It's getting a little too thick on me as far as fat and wine. Just can't. I'll go back in and hit that. We kind of want to give it just a little bit of that definition up here. We don't necessarily want to have a black outline either. So we can have this around there, and then we'll come up around our hat. And it can add some little shadows and depth to it that way too. I'm gonna give it kind of that little folded look right in there. Come on up. And there we go. I think we're going to go ahead and kind of go over her shoes again. They do not look very smooth to me. You can definitely see the streaking in there from the think I'm going to use our peachier color and mix it in with some of that light peach to kind of outline. So let me get some of that coral. It's coral. It's just coral. It's Craft Smart coral because I'm using Deco Art and some of the other ones, and the Coral Blush is Deco Art, and it's very different. Their corals are very different. Deco Art and Craft Smart are very different shades. And for the same titled paint, so beware. It's going to give it a different look. Let's stick the finger right in there. So I mixed them with a lot of the coral just so we could kind of give it that little bit of an outline there. For our sweet little girl here, gotta give her a neckline. Like I said, his mouth is kind of lost under his mustache and beard and whatnot. I guess that's what happens with the nose when you have the beard and the mustache. It just kind of gets lost in there. But hers is still going to be there because she is not hairy on the face, right? So we're going to go around her hand a little bit, real quick. We're picking up just a little bit of that red from the heart. Just a little bit down. Not a bad thing, but not necessarily what we want. Come around here. Some of these are the little touches that add that little bit to the finished painting that makes it be like, oh, okay, yeah. Okay. I think I want to take the brown actually and kind of do where it's shadow, kind of like, oh, the tip there. Touch that paint and it went all kinds of crazy. We're going to kind of add just a little bit of shadow to her hairline there with the darker color. And we're just going to kind of braided, so we're going to kind of give it the hints of the braid as it goes down. There we go. It's like, figure this one out from this direction, this angle. There it is. And just kind of plug in that away, and then we don't have too much of any one color kind of outline. I'm going to kind of pull some little curly kind of where her hair's just kind of, the end just kind of curls around in several directions at the bottom sometimes. If you've got very full hair, it definitely curls around some. If you've got very thick or very curly hair, it curls in. Highlights and need to leave too, but we'll check out. All right, guys. Thank y'all for coming and hanging out. It was so fun getting to chit chat with y'all. I will do my best to remember to post a finished picture on my page as well as on my personal page. So thank y'all again. All right. I'm going to take this lighter color and kind of do him some little. All right, guys. Well, I'll be honest. I wasn't expecting to be on here this long, but I appreciate everybody that came and stayed. And I'm going to let y'all go now, and I'll finish this up, and I will post the finished picture later. So y'all have a good evening, and I'll catch y'all later.